With great honor, we now listen to the valedictory address from the top graduate of Class 2025, Mr. Manuel A. Lisondra, summa cum laude, Bachelor of Science in Applied Mathematics.
To our University President, Dr. Jonald L. Pimentel, to the honorable members of the Board of Regents, to our 4 Vice Presidents, Dr. Lawrence C. Tandog, Vice President for Academic Affairs, Dr. Debbie Marie V. Verzosa, Vice President for Research, Development, and Extension, Ms. Quinilyn Durendes, Vice President for Administration and Finance, and Dr. Samsudin Panday, Vice President for Resource Generation and Entrepreneurial Services. To our esteemed guest speaker, Dr. Fumiko Yasuno, to our visitors from various agencies, to the members of the Administrative Council, college deans, the teaching and non-teaching faculty in attendance, parents and guardians, my fellow graduates, a pleasant morning to everyone. If you ask my parents, they'll probably still say I should not have done it. When I decided to pursue college outside my hometown, Cotabato City, I didn't have their blessing, not at first. They were scared, and maybe they had every reason to be. We live in a house sitting on a lot we don't own. My father works as a driver in a construction company, and my mother earns what she can from our humble sari-sari store. I am the third of 7 children. Plus, in 2021 was still at the height of the pandemic. It's completely understandable that at that time, sending a child to study in an unfamiliar place was simply something our family could not afford, not financially and not emotionally. But I was persistent. Honestly, I was harsh. What should have been calm conversation turned into arguments. I fought out of desperation. In the end, I got there hesitant, yes, but it didn't feel like a victory. It is not easy to live in the tension of opposing truths, but sometimes, to stay loyal to your family, you must first be brave to go against them. I will never forget this. At the age of 19, I boarded that first bus to Cabacan, to University of Southern Mindanao, alone, with a heart half full of guilt, half full of hope. That bus ride felt like a quiet act of rebellion. It was heavy because I was never the kind of son who disobeys his parents, especially not for decisions this big. Deep down, I feared I was being selfish. I didn't know exactly what I was chasing, but I certainly wasn't ready to live alone. But I held on a strange and stubborn feeling that something greater was waiting for me beyond the city where I grew up. We all have our bus moment. Thus, that was mine. At some point in our lives, we've faced a moment when we had to choose between comfort of the familiar and stepping into the unfamiliar. These are the moments of our first risk. For some, it's walking away from a path others expected them to follow. For others, it's finding the courage to speak up when silence would have been better. Sometimes, it means leaving home, and other times, it means staying even when every part of you wants to run. It may also come in different forms. It's saying yes to a leadership role, even if it scares you. It's saying no to a life that no longer feels like yours. In every case, the lesson remains. You won't know who you can become unless you dare to leave the certainty behind. And what makes these moments hard is that no one else can make that decision for you. You just go. Not because you're confident, but because you believe that you owe it to yourself to find out what could be waiting on the other side. The truth is, most people won't see your bus moment for what it really is. They'll only see the outcome, if it worked or if it didn't. Others might call you reckless. Some might call you a rebel or disobedient. But only you will ever know the weight of that choice, the courage it took, the fear you had to swallow, and the kind of faith it demanded from you. And what greater faith is there than the faith to disobey? To choose comfort, to choose growth over comfort, even if it hurts. To disappoint expectations of others out of responsibility to your own becoming. To gamble on the belief that there is something better ahead, even if everyone around you says, stay where you are. And thank God for USM for catching us when we took our leap of faith. USM was there, help us carry the weight of our first act of disobedience. And more importantly, it taught us how to carry ourselves better from there. We found professors and mentors in this university who saw our potential before we did. Classmates who didn't know our story but believed in our efforts. Sleepless nights that taught us how to endure. And sunrises over Kabakan that reminded us that every day we stayed up was the day we chose hope. And as we leave this institution, we will carry with us more than knowledge. We will carry the quiet strength of the choices that brought us here. The memory of our first risk that we took and the hope that refused to let go. We will carry the faith that even we were unsure, we moved forward anyway. That even when we were called rebels or disobedient, we weren't being defiant. We were just believing in something not everyone could yet see. Fellow graduates, we step into the world that as unpredictable as it is vast. When we face the world beyond these gates, we continue to chase excellence and carry out one truth that the moment we first arrive in USM, we can always abandon what is safe to find what is right. But no journey is taken alone. Through it may have felt like I aborted my first bus by myself. People who held me up from the distance, who believed in me quietly, who gave me strength in ways I didn't fully understand until now. So before I step off the stage and onto whatever road lies ahead, I want to take this opportunity to give thanks. I thank God above all for being the silent witness of our private battles, for walking with us in moments no one else saw when we doubted ourselves, when we almost gave up. God was there when we solemnly pray in the corners, when we stepped into the unknown and stayed with us as we slowly become who we are meant to be. To my professors at the Department of Mathematics and Statistics and the College of Science and Mathematics, headed by Dean Dr. Philip Lester P. Benjamin, thank for reminding us that growth is messy, learning is hard, and that becoming better often begins with falling forward. Thank you for the lessons you impart and for all your support. Also, I would like to extend my gratitude to a great mentor and thesis advisor, Dr. Jonald L. Pimentel. Before you became the father of this university, you were once our academic dad. Thank you for introducing me to statistical data analysis, something I will pursue in the future. Thank you for believing in me, for helping me discover my passion for research. Above all, my love for mathematics. For being one of the people who shaped me into the person that I am today. I appreciate this and more, Dr. Jonal. I would also like to express my gratitude to the Ministry of Science and Technology BARM, to the Minister, Engineer Aida M. Silongan, and all the staff na bumubuo ng MOST. I am proud to say that I am part of the second batch of the Bangsamoro Assistant for Science Education grantee. Thank you for giving students like me the chance to pursue something bigger when our dreams far exceeded our means. Mabuhay ang iskolar ng Bangsamoro. To my friends, Ronnie, Ivan, Des, Ivy, Aladdin, Dominic, and Alexis, my roommate, brother Jerome, and to all my dorm mates, my best friends in Cotabato, Simene, Jasmine, and Emeron, for the shared meals, the long walks, the group chats that turn into lifelines, for listening without judgment, for making heavy days bearable, and for making my college journey like moments in film, and for being family when we were away from our own. You made this chapter of our lives feels like home. And to my parents, my mother, Anami, and my father, Manuel Primo, this is the hardest and most heartfelt thank you of all. I know that my decision to leave home was difficult. I know that in choosing USM, I caused you pain, confusion, and worry. I'm sorry that we had to begin this chapter through a fight, but I hope you'll now see that I wasn't turning away. I was simply reaching towards something I felt called to. I saw a future I couldn't yet explain, and you were still trying to protect me from a world that I hadn't yet proven I could navigate. But everything I've become is because of your sacrifices, and I love you guys for that. I hope I made you proud. I hope I made you proud for what I've achieved, but for having the courage to carry everything that taught me into the life I can now call my own. I love you guys so much. Four years ago, at the age of 19, I took my first bus ride in USM. At the age of 19, I took my first bus ride to USM alone, with a heart half full of guilt, half full of hope. Today, I'll take that road back and return. This time, not as a disobedient son, but as the fourth summa cum laude graduate in the history of this institution, and as someone who dared to chase excellence and to become the great version of and as someone who dared to chase excellence to become the great version of himself. And if you ask my parents, they'll probably still say I should not have done it. But after all that I've learned and all that I've become, I believe they now understand why I had to. Ayak ako. And if I had to take that bus, and if I had to take that bus ride all over again, I would, every single time. Congratulations, Batch 2025. The bus to our next journey is here, and this time, we no longer ride alone. Continue chasing excellence, and see you on the other side. Thank you, and once again, good morning.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, USM's fourth summa cum laude, Mr. Manuel Lisondra. Thank you, Manuel. Your message is a testimony of perseverance, purpose, and unwavering spirit of a true USMian.